Is that what it does for you? Good. It's
I
fine.
don't know. I've not been on this end before.
Okay, here we go.
It is working. Right, you should have all the features you need. Correct? Screen share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. All right, Nichole, just remember you'll keep up with the entries, anybody who kind of pops in. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, January 11th. We're 2 days late on this, my fault completely. So Nichole is making exception for us to knock out a little travel talk. And we'll probably try to schedule another one of these in early February before we get to all of our championship meets. So as usual, any feedback that you have or questions that you come up with are the most valuable contributions to these meetings. Other than that, Nichole's going to lead us here, and she's got complete control of the system. Now I can back away and let her take over.
I feel like I have a lot of control tonight. Guys, do me a favor real quick before we jump in. Grab a pen and paper. If you've got some paper nearby, or a pencil or a pen. So we're going to go through your packing and planning, meals and snacks, all the things that you're going to need for next weekend. It's next weekend, correct? Y'all leave soon, this coming weekend, next weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Those of us that are traveling to the Auburn meet are leaving Friday morning.
Okay, great.
Friday through Monday afternoon.
Okay, great. So that's going to be a handful of meals, lots of snacks. We're going to talk about whether that means packing some things from home, planning a grocery trip when you get there, whether you're staying in a house that has a kitchen for you, or if you're staying in a hotel and most of your meals are going to be out. So even if you're going to have most of your meals out, there's still going to be some things that you're going to want to keep at the hotel room. There's usually a mini fridge, a small fridge that you can keep some cold items. Some bars, I suggest some different things. So have your pen and paper ready so that you can take some notes. And we'll get started. Let me share my screen and we'll go ahead and jump in. Okay. Let me move. Present. Okay. So planning and prepping for Auburn. And this is going to be also not just for this coming weekend, but in general, for any type of away meet you have. A lot of these tips are also really helpful for when you go on vacation, when vacations come up and you're traveling and you still want to focus on your nutrition, or like last year, we were all a little displaced for a hurricane. I can't imagine that's the last time we're going to get displaced for a hurricane. So just having these tools and planning tools and prepping tools in your back pocket will be really helpful come in the future. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is planning the meals and the snack. Are you eating out, which I'm understanding that most of your meals will be out? Are you cooking in? Maybe a little bit, maybe a very small few of you. And then how many snacks will you need? So obviously if we're going out to eat, you will be eating your meals in restaurants, but sorry guys, I'm keeping an eye on who needs to come in. How many snacks are you gonna need? You don't wanna underpack. I'd rather you have too many snacks. You can always bring them home with you, right? We don't wanna be underprepared. Oops. Okay, so I tell this to all of my nutrition clients, not just clients who are traveling, not just you guys as my teen elite swimmers, but everybody. When you make a grocery list, when you make any kind of planning list, when it comes to your food and nutrition, you want to make your list and your meal list before you start your grocery list, make your meal list, make your snack list. What are we going to be having? And then you make your grocery list based off of that. Okay. So if breakfast is going to be in the hotel, we obviously need some things that are going to be easy to make and put together in a hotel. So things like maybe instant oatmeal, some bars, bananas and apples pack really well. Some yogurts, those keep in the fridge really well. They're already prepackaged. They have a lid, they're covered. Lunches, if you're picking up lunch, we'll go through what that looks like. If you know that you want to have maybe a turkey sandwich in your bag or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in your bag. Dinners are going to be out, and we're going to talk about navigating restaurants. And then your snacks. What are some of the things that you've been eating for practices recently that you know your body responds to well? Make your list based off of those. When we're going into competitions, when we're going into these competition weekends, it's not the time to try something new, right? If you're not used to eating yogurt before you get in the pool, this is not the time to put yogurt in your system for the first time, right? We want to stick to the things that we know and the things that your body and your stomach's already comfortable with before exerting all that energy. Okay, so let's break down some meal suggestions so you can put your list together. So breakfasts. Whole wheat bagels with some light cream cheese or some peanut butter. Those three things would be really easy to keep in your hotel. If you're staying at a hotel that has maybe like a continental breakfast in the lobby, you will probably be able to find all three of these things, bagel or whole wheat toast. All of those things will be available in like a continental breakfast. Same with scrambled eggs, same with fruit, same with oatmeal. Oatmeal is going to be a great breakfast or even a snack to have to keep you fueling with those complex carbs. You can get microwavable instant ones. If you want to write this down, a brand that I really like is RX. I know some of y'all have eaten the bars. They have an instant oatmeal. It comes in a little cup. You peel the lid off, you add hot water, you add water and you microwave it. Most hotel rooms are going to have a little microwave. Or at the continental breakfast, they'll have a microwave and some hot water. So all of those should be really easy, packable things. Lunch. Oops, this keeps jumping ahead. Lunch. Is lunch, and Ross can just give me a nod of the head, is lunch going to be something they have to bring? Are they going to get that at the pool? Are they going to go out for lunch in between? Somewhere in between?
Yeah, it's going to be more like what we've done in the past have been like Panera box lunches that get delivered to the pool.
Perfect. Love that. That's great. Getting yourself a sandwich is going to be perfect. A wrap, a sandwich, all those things are great. Avoid the soft drinks. I know a lot of times those box lunches will come with a soda, like a Coke, a Diet Coke, something like that. We don't want all that carbonation on our stomach. Even if y'all are used to drinking some sparkling water, especially if you know that you're swimming after lunch, we want to keep the bubbles to a minimum because we don't want all that stomach upset. On the side of your sandwich, have a piece of fruit, again, like an apple or banana. Some pretzels would be great. We want to kind of avoid the fried stuff, so limit the chips. Definitely put the candy away. You want to focus on your lean protein, which is going to be somewhere between 2 slices of bread if you're getting those box lunches. Complex carb is going to be that bread, and your healthy fats is going to be whatever kind of maybe sauce, maybe there's avocado on your sandwich, anything like that. But again, we want to really limit the fried stuff. If there's a concession stand and there's French fries, pass them up. Dinner. So I'm getting the head nod that most of y'all's dinners will be out at restaurants. So this is going to be more or less, hold on guys, let me let these people in. This is going to be more or less if you were to be cooking at home, but it is also a good guide for when you're navigating a menu. And the next slide, we're going to talk about looking at a menu. You want to focus on a lean protein, chicken, turkey, seafood. We don't want it to be fried though. We don't want to get the fried chicken sandwich. We don't want to get the fried shrimp basket or the fried fish. We want to eliminate or reduce cream sauces. So I know there's like all this talk about carb loading before big races. If you want to have your pastas and potatoes and things like that, that's great. Just don't get it in floating in a bowl of cream sauce, right? That's really going to bum your stomach out. Or it gives you the potential of upsetting your stomach. Even if you know that you can eat Alfredo sauce, till the cows come home when you're at home. It may be different, and you may get something different at a restaurant that you're not used to because it wasn't cooked at home. Just be really careful about ordering things that you know that your stomach may not handle well. You can have pasta, rice, potatoes, all those things are going to be great. Don't limit on the carbs. Again, we want to be careful of those French fries. I know we all want them, but it's just going to be stuff that's really going to weigh you down and keep you feeling heavy and sluggish the next day. Again, limit that dairy if you can. Next, snacks. These are your yes snacks. We're going to have a yes snack slide and a no snack slide. We've talked about snacks a bajillion times and what are the best options for you guys before and after swimming and what to keep in your bag while you're there at the pool. I was at one of y'all's meets. Y'all are eating the whole dang time, right? There's always a snack going on. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's not fried. So make sure it's not candy and baked goods. So these are all the things that we want to focus on. So whole fruits, fruit, bananas, apples, berries, all those things. The instant oatmeal would be great. Pretzels. If you want to dip it in something, you can bring hummus. Hummus comes in those little individual packets you can get. That would be really easy to throw in your bag. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Even like a turkey roll up, a turkey wrap, a turkey sandwich. Those peanut butter energy balls. If any of y'all have tried those so far, I know a couple of y'all have, you can pack those from home. Some of those bars and granolas, if y'all want a bar to keep in your bag, you know that I'm against those Cliff bars. You can look at maybe those protein ones, but they're still going to be really high in sugar or the added sugar. I like the RX bars and the Perfect bar. I think it's called a Perfect bar. The Perfect bars you'll usually find in the refrigerated section of a grocery store. Those are going to be some of the ones that I suggest. They're going to be low in sugar. They're going to look the least like a Snickers bar in the back when you flip it over. I hope some of y'all are starting to take notice on some of those labels, but this is a list of some suggestions that you guys can focus on for some snacks in your bag. And that may be going to the grocery store Thursday night, loading up on some of these things, or it may be once you get into town on Friday afternoon, hitting the store real quick. The nose, the chips, the French fries, the candy, the cookies. Just avoid it while you're in a competition weekend. You know, we want to limit those things. You just want your body feeling its best. The things that you put in before is really going to change the performance and how you feel going into this weekend. Okay, restaurant planning. So far, any questions? Let me let this person in. Okay, any questions so far? We're good? Guys, I don't know if I can see the chat. I've never been on this side of the reins before. So if you have a question, just unmute yourself and let me know, because I don't know where I'm looking right now. Okay, so restaurant planning, do some research. You're going to Auburn, maybe look up some restaurants, go with your parents, go online and look up some restaurants. If you haven't made plans yet already, maybe y'all have plans already. Maybe you know exactly where you're going Friday night. Maybe you guys have already had a schedule laid out. Go online, pull up the menu, check it out. If you can go to the restaurant with an idea in mind that this is what I'm going to order. I told Nichole I'm going to keep it clean. You're going to go in a little bit more prepared and with a plan than getting there and being like, I want the onion rings, I want the soup with the cream, and I want the pasta with the Alfredo sauce. So go in with a little bit of a plan, go in knowing that you're going to make some healthier choices. Because this coach tip on the side, your meal the night before meet can really throw off your game. You don't want to try anything new. It's not the time to experiment with something you've never had before. Stick to the things that you know are going to feel good and sit well in your stomach. Yeah.
The restaurant choices are mine, and I give them certain options from each place that we're getting pre-ordered and delivered to us.
Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect.
The only time that we'll do a kind of pick off the menu will be probably the Sunday night after competition's over.
Oh, well, then you guys can kind of celebrate then. You can kind of go a little bit slippery on your orders. But okay, so that's perfect. So you already have the clean options. So now it's kind of your responsibility to not hit any vending machines and not hit any gas stations and load up on the candy bars and the treats and that stuff. So keeping it clean, because it sounds like you guys have already got a plan. So that's perfect. Let's chat hydration, because we know we got to talk about food. You know, I'm going to harp on hydration. This is something that you also need to pack. pack your water bottles. Pack, if you've been digging the body armor drinks for additional hydration. If you have been drinking, you've been putting noon tablets, hydration noon tablets in your water bottles. If you've been doing something that you know is helping you with your nutrition, bring it with you. Pack some bottles on the road. Your drive there, you should be hydrating. Remember, we've talked about you can't play catch up to your hydration. You've got to go into this weekend already hydrated. It's going to give you extra energy. It's going to eliminate any cramping. It's going to eliminate any headaches. You want to make sure you're hydrated before Friday gets here. So start now and then make sure don't just rely on the coaches to have their ice chest of water bottles for you, right? Make sure you have take some initiative and decide on what you may need or want to have so you can, be in control of what you need. Make your food a priority. Don't just show up and wing it, right? Take a little bit of extra time to think about it. Make your list. If any of these suggestions were helpful, write them down. Just so that you know that you're going into it prepared and you've got a plan. Don't want to load up on fried food. We don't want to get all this extra sugar because it's a road trip. I know when I get on the road trip and we stop at the gas station, maybe I want some sour gummies, but I don't have to swim. It's not going to be just because you're going like out and it feels like vacation, you're going out of town. Try to limit yourself. You want to be able to perform at your highest level and compete well. And having those extra sweets, you don't want that sugar rush and that sugar crash. You really want to take care of your body and go into it nice and prepped and primed. Okay, I do see a chat. Let's see. Is dried fruit a good snack? Yeah, dried fruit's a great snack. So like a trail mix situation, you can get some dried fruit. If you're at the store, flip over the label of the dried fruit. Sometimes, because I've seen both. I was actually at Trader Joe's today and I flipped over 2 different dried mango packages. One was dried mango when I flipped it over, and under the added sugar line, it was a bajillion grams of added sugar. And then the other brand that I flipped over of the mango had 0 added sugar. It's high in total sugars because fruit has a lot of sugars, right? We've talked about the natural sugars and the artificial sugars. So just check your dried fruit sugar line. The total sugar is not terrible, but the added sugars is what I focus on. So like a trail mix would be great. They have mixed nuts with dried fruit, all those things. That would be a great little snack to keep in your bag as well. Good question. Who has other questions about shopping, snacks, packing ahead, snacks during meets, food after practice, after meets? What do we got? Surely y'all have some questions going into next weekend. Questions, comments, concerned?
Is coffee good for like breakfast before meat or anything like that?
No. Skip the caffeine. Up your water. The problem with the caffeine, especially before going into competition, it's a diuretic. So it's dehydrating and it can cause some GI upset. You don't want to go into, I don't know if you get nerves before a competition or extra adrenaline. You don't need the extra adrenaline. I mean, you don't need the extra caffeine with the adrenaline causing that big rush and shakes and jitters. And I would rather you load up on the hydration and give yourself some natural energy, load up on some fruits, get yourself some complex carb. All of those things are going to drive your energy levels up and reduce the caffeine, the additional caffeine.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Should snacks be more protein or carbs for meats? Oh, hey, Izzy. Carbs. You want a little bit of a combo for both. If you are done swimming though, but you're still sticking around, you still have maybe you're done. I don't really know how the schedule may run for you, but if you're done swimming, but you're there for the rest of the day, then you can focus on getting a protein in, maybe a protein shake, or like a smoothie, maybe if there's a Smoothie King around or something like that. I wouldn't worry about, or I wouldn't try to take in a protein shake before your workout, just because sometimes that liquid can sit funny on our stomachs and I don't want you to get upset stomach from it. So the carbs are going to be something you want to have during, in between heats or in between your race and before. something like a complex carb with a healthy fat that's going to give you that energy source. Don't avoid the protein. Most of the time, this is the other thing with when we focus on our macros, our fats, our carbs, our proteins, rarely is one item just one macro, right? So if it's, let's just say we're looking at a bagel. That bagel, even though it's higher in carbs, it's going to have some fat and it's going to have some protein, and that's okay. You want to look at where the majority of the calories are coming from in that item. So for example, like a protein shake is going to have the majority of the macro is going to be protein. A dried fruit nut mix is going to be majority carbs and fat. So you don't need to avoid protein, but I would avoid maybe something like a milky shake or a protein smoothie or something, just the way, however it may sit on your stomach. Does that make sense? Was that helpful? Perfect. Anybody else? Things like grapes and those whole fruits and crackers, the peanut butter crackers, pretzels, all of that stuff's going to be great to have in your bag to snack on. The thing you really want to be mindful of is the chips, the fried snacks, the baked goods, those high sugary things. The stuff that you would usually find at a vending machine or a concession stand. Who else? Anyone? Anyone? I'm trying to think if I have any other travel tips for you. Make sure you got some snacks for your ride. I know the ride's long to get up to Auburn. So pack some snacks, not candy, not soft drinks, maybe some Gatorade, some body armor, some water. Those are all things we want. Ross, do you need any? Oh, here we go. Do you recommend the hydration drink to be very cold ice? That's up to you. Honestly, it doesn't, I mean, I prefer if I'm thirsty, I prefer an icy drink. That's preference. It can be room temp. I don't like it room temp, but if that's the only way you have it, maybe pack a little mini ice chest for your car. I know whenever I go to races with my triathlete friends or my triathlete husband, there's always an ice chest in the car full of water, hydration, because you want to get it in days leading up to your race. But the temperature doesn't really matter. No problem.
Nichole, I know we talked about this a long time ago, so could have been better prepared, but we're going to get on a bus Friday morning. We're going to drive all the way to Auburn, hopefully have lunch waiting for us there when we check into the hotel.
Right.
Then go to the swim meet for a few hours. Everybody will have a warm up in one event, kind of a mid-distance event. And then we will end up with another kind of small dinner brought to the pool, hopefully. And then we go there's a big Walmart supercenter right down the street from the hotel. And that's where they go shopping with their roommates to go get the things that we don't need to pack from home,
Perfect.
Yogurt or juice or fruit, things like that are just more of a pain to travel with.
Gotcha.
And then the next 2 days will be wake up at the hotel, eat at the hotel. Hopefully there's useful stuff there. If not, if they like certain things, like you were saying, get that at the store the night before. And in the mornings, we're kind of at the meet for about 6+ hours. Okay. We will have our lunch each day delivered to the pool, probably for about 11:30, but they'll need snacks and drinks, and we'll bring a cooler full of water. So that's never on short supply. And I think there's some water stations at the facility itself. We go back to the hotel for a couple hours and then go back for the evening session. And most of the time, because the evening session doesn't end until after 8, we have a dinner delivered to the pool. So they're eating kind of on the go a little bit, but it's a little more controlled. It's not unlimited. It's not unlimited table drinks and picking everything off the menu. And we'll do that for Saturday and Sunday. And like I said, maybe Sunday night, if we find a place, we may go take our time and sit down. and then we work our way home on Monday.
Perfect. That made me think of something. Guys, don't skip the meal. If they're, like he said, he's bringing all this food in, you're going to have it all brought straight to you. You've got a couple different options. Don't skip it. The worst thing you could do is just, well, I'm not hungry right now. I don't feel like eating. Don't skip your meals. Make sure you take in the food that's available to you. The other thing about making the smart choice is staying fueled. You also don't want to be under fueled. Even if you don't feel hungry, you may need to force it a little bit. Try getting something in, try eating. I don't know if that's an issue for any of y'all. If you're maybe just not feeling up to it before a swim, or if you're not feeling up to it after a swim, I don't know how you feel, but this meeting now has unlimited. Okay. Just make sure you're taking in the food. That's the other thing, is make sure you're taking in your food. Make sure you're sleeping. That's part of your wellness. Make sure you're sleeping. What else? Any other questions, guys? Has anybody thought about what they may be getting from the Walmart Supercenter, or have any questions about maybe they had something written on their list, or know that this is what they typically like to get in past years and they want to know if it's a good option? Yes, no? That's it? The naked smoothies. Yeah, they're fine. I mean, as a snack, or, I don't hate them. It's not a meal replacement. I know a lot of people look at those smoothies or those naked juices as like a cleanse and a meal replacement. It wouldn't be a meal replacement. Oh, this says it's a direct message if you guys can't see it. Izzy is asking about the naked smoothies. You just don't want to replace any food that you would chew, but it would be an easy thing to get down. As long as it doesn't upset your stomach. Sometimes those liquid drinks may sit in your stomach funny before an endurance event. Be mindful of that. Julian asking about Fairlife milk. I love the Fairlife milk. Are you just drinking it? Or are you putting it in something? Are you just drinking like a bottle of milk, or is it like a protein shake? I know I really like the Fairlife Core protein shakes. I like the Fairlife products a lot.
Yeah, it just seemed like an announcement from Julian, like
Yeah.
he found something.
Exclamation
It's not a
point.
scavenger hunt, Julian. Just if you have a question, that's helpful.
Just drinking it like milk. That's fine. Again, the milk thing, you know what upsets your stomach. Not everybody would be able to feel their best after drinking a glass of milk and then jumping in the pool. But if you know that's something that sits well in your stomach, sure. Sunflower seeds, not as like anything with nutritional density. I mean, if you're bored and you want something to pick on, I know sunflower seeds are like an activity. If you're eating it with the seed and spitting it out, it's fine. It's doing nothing to nourish your body. There's nothing to those seeds. So it would just be like, it'd be just an activity, and it's fine. It's just as long as there's a ton of sodium in them. If you're like putting the seed in and spitting the seed out, just stay hydrated. Was that helpful? Anybody else? Keep them coming. You're saying, yeah, basically as like just to spit them out, and it's like an activity. That's fine. That works. As long as you also have other good snacks to keep your body nourished and fueled and primed for your event. What else? Other thing with these meals that you're getting catered and brought in, I don't know if they're limited to like 1 box lunch, or if they can get 2 box lunches or 3 box lunches. Just like I said, don't skip a meal. Don't overeat and stuff yourself where it's going to be hard for you to compete a couple hours later. You know what I mean? Keep control of your portions.
Only other question I kind of bring up is spacing things out. We may be getting up around 6 and getting to the pool by 7 and still there by 1 in the, from 6 a.m. off till 1, waters to other drinks to snacks. The meals will be kind of 4 or 5 hours apart, depending on what they eat for breakfast.
So I like my go-to is 3 to 4 hours in between. Don't eat because you're bored and you're sitting there waiting around. Try to, listen to your body. If you know that your event is coming up, if you know the timing of it, make sure you have eaten 30 to 60 minutes prior, just so you have the fuel in your body, but it's also giving your body some time to start digestion, and it's not like sitting like in your throat and in your stomach. You're not overly stuffed, but you still have the fuel to perform. Don't just sit there because you're bored. If you're sitting around, if you're waiting, you know what I mean? If there's a lot of downtime in between when your races are, is that helpful? Is that what we're kind of, make sure my goal is always to eat every 3 to 4 hours. And if I'm going to be working out, 30 to 60 minutes before my activity, so that those complex carbs and that fuel's in me.
Yeah. I mean, you've said it a few times, but it's them doing 2 things: waking up early enough to actually eat what they need, and not just saying it's too early, I don't feel like getting up, I want to
Force
sleep
it.
15 more minutes. And
Force
then
it.
realizing just how long they're there, that they, reminder of how much water you're supposed to take in during a day. And that's a natural, normal day, not 7 hours at the pool with a small break and then a couple more hours later. That's those in and out cycles, or even can be more demanding on what you need for hydration and
Totally.
such.
So guys, I've said it a couple times now, but it's 1 ounce per body weight. That is for a normal person. The goal is 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce of your body weight. So if you're 120 pounds, 120 ounces. That is a lot of water. My jug is it's like my size, and it's 100 ounces. So you want to keep it up. You want to be drinking water all day. That may mean a bajillion bathroom breaks, but it sounds like you've got plenty of time to be there and go to the bathroom. Hydrate. If you're bored and you go to grab snacks, make sure you're drinking water. Because the 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce is the healthy option for just healthy living. You guys are going to be expending energy. You guys are going to be you have sweat loss. Even though you're in the pool, you may not realize it, you're sweating and you're losing water. You want that to be continually refueling. You want your body to be fueled with a snack. You don't want to go into those races. If you've been sitting around all afternoon, you don't want to go into it overfed if you've been bored and snacking. So those are things to keep in mind. Keep an eye on the clock. If you're not used to eating breakfast that early, and it may take you an extra 15 minutes to go downstairs, see if they have that breakfast in the lobby, or if it's you microwaving something or making yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you've got to do it. You've got to force yourself a little bit more, because it will make a huge difference in the grand scheme of your day. And it's going to maybe feel like a pain in the butt getting up a little bit extra early, but it's going to be totally worth it in the long run, and making sure your body stays steadily fueled through the day and steadily hydrated through the day for days, since you're going to be there for a couple of them. Do you have any questions about this? As far as the timing of their food, how much they should be taking in, water, extra hydration. Y'all feel good about this? You feel good about going to the store and making some choices on your own? Are y'all going to bring a list So you can walk into that grocery store prepared. Cool. Hope this was helpful.
So cool. It always is.
All right.
Again, we'll probably talk about doing this maybe the first Sunday of February, depending on what Nicole's schedule is, which she doesn't have to commit to right now, because we will go into the second and third weekends of February are our state championship meets. So we are 4 weeks out of our state meet Thursday night. So with the older group, 5 weeks, I think, for the 14 and unders. Yeah, it's going to sneak up on a lot of you real quick. And there's only so much you can do. So we'll try to get Nichole to come in one more time and talk to us about the same thing, what to do for your competition, same type of stuff. Go in prepared, planned, bring what you need. If you're not sure you can find it, you've all spent time in the site where we're going to go for state. Many of you have done this Auburn trip where we go in and shop and all that kind of stuff, and you start working on making your own choices and working with your roommates and such to do so.
And it sounds like if you guys have another travel, this will be able to kind of maybe dial in more if you go to this trip and things worked out, things didn't work out. We can navigate how to make it better for the one in February. Guys, also, it's February. King cake is not a breakfast food. Just FYI. Big bummer. Get it balanced. Enjoy your king cake. Enjoy carnival season, but it is not a breakfast pastry.
And Nichole said this about, I think the milk and other things. It is important for everybody to figure out what does work for them, because it is different. The story for me was it took me years to realize that I used to think I ate too fast after a swim meet and I would get like stomach cramps, but it was actually the strawberry milkshake or vanilla milkshake that I would get with my 2 chicken sandwiches that was my problem. And it took me a long time to accept that that was something I needed to get rid of and be okay with. So if something is not working, the sooner you identify it, the better. There's too many options out there to be stubbornly putting something in your system that is definitely giving you a signal that it doesn't belong, and doing it just maybe because somebody else is doing it or you think you're supposed to. So what your body
100%.
tells you is the most important thing.
100%. If you know that you get a minor headache after something, if you feel a little bit of a stomach ache, if something's wrong in your bathroom habits, I know that sounds TMI, but if like something just seems off, like it's usually coming from your food choices. And like you said, there's so many options. There's probably a substitution. We can probably make it work with a small change. So just try to stay a little bit more in tune rather than just like, well, this is just what happens when I do this.
Yeah. And before you go, the best thing to do would be kind of keeping track of what you did and what worked and what didn't. And if you have questions about it, is getting with Nichole for next time. It's not coming as a clean slate. What worked, what didn't, what did you think worked, what did you want to have work that you might need some help with or a substitution for.
Totally. We'll workshop it. I love it.
Totally. Cool. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, I guess it'll just stop recording. Oh,
You can hit stop recording.